Today we continue with our class Women's Guide to Practical Halachah. And we start with Sefer Shmiras Haloshon. And today's topic is David's acceptance. Let's see. So it says, the sages teach that one who speaks Lashon Hara is fit to be stoned. Arachim 15b. The following lends support for this statement of our sages, those whose teachings are true and everlasting. Okay, so those who speak Lashon Hara fits to be stoned. Okay, why? In an incident recorded in the book of Shmuel, David HaMelech was, according to the sages, guilty of accepting Lashon Hara. In the very next incident, David, as he fled during the rebellion of his son Avshalom, was cursed and stoned by Shimi ben Gera. The word behold, with which this second narrative begins, indicates the connection between the two episodes. This implies that transgressing the Lashon Hara prohibitions, one is fit to be stoned, as David was by Shimi, after he had been guilty of such an infraction. It does not say here, but I think it was the case of Mephibosheth. I think that's he was a son of, according to some opinion, he was son of Shaul. According to other opinions, he was actually a grandson of Shaul. Right, and I think his attendant, if I remember the story correctly, his attendant came to bring supplies to David, and David said, "Where is Mephibosheth?" No, he's actually on Avshalom's side, right? Even Avshalom rebelled against David, so I'm on your side, Your Majesty. And unfortunately, David believed it, and that's why it was like a curse that half of the kingdom is going to, your kingdom is going to split, fortunately. So he split the inheritance of Mephibosheth, and Hashem said, your kingdom is going to split. But it was only after the after Shlomo HaMelech. Okay, so he accepted Lashon Hara, and after that episode, he was stoned. Stoned meaning the Shmin and Ben Gera. This Rasha was like a cursing David and throwing stones at him. That's the story. Okay, so our sages say from this word "and behold," there is connection between the two verses. First, he believed Lashon Hara, and then somebody throws stones at him. Parenthetically, the above is indicative of David's exalted holiness and righteousness. For the scripture made clear that David was of the yet unaware that he had sinned in accepted slanderous report. Yet when one of his officers suggests that Shimei be punished for his blasphemous behavior, David responded, Hashem told him, he inspired him to curse. So that's a very interesting thought that David, even though he did not realize what happened right away, but he understood that he did something wrong. Why? Because Hashem allowed the Shimi ben Gera. He cursed David with all of the curses in the Torah, unfortunately, right? So David realized that Hashem allowed that. It was my fault. What is my fault? I don't know yet, but that's for sure it's my fault. David, without knowing how and when he had sinned, recognized the fact that Hashem would not have permitted Shimi to act as he did had he, David, not be deserving such a disgrace. So David thought, so if I would not be deserving for such a punishment, Hashem would not allow it. But since I deserved, and we have to understand, so this Shimi ben Gera, he was an elderly man, right? And he went against the whole army. I mean, the army, it was about, if I remember the story correctly, about 600 people, all of the warriors, right? Close warriors of David, right? And this guy started throwing the stones. So I mean, what is the chances that a normal a person would do that? I mean, he would die. They would kill him for sure. Go against the king, and nevertheless he went and did it. Right? Why? Because Hashem inspired him. That's clear. David asked his general. I don't remember his name, but it was not Yov. It was not Elisha. Okay, so he started his general. So no, don't kill it. It's Hashem inspired him. Therefore, he would not allow his men to attack Shimi, even though they could kill him in a split second. Okay, we stop here. So that's that general rule. When something is wrong is coming our way, so we have to understand it's our fault. Okay. So continue. So our big topic is Kibbud Abayim, meaning respect to the parents, father and mother. So now next piece is disagreeing or validating. Okay, let's see. Although the literal translation of pasuk in the Torah is to fear one's parent, right? The correct meaning is to have a reverence and awe of them. So fear is it's like it is a direct translation, but there are there is a different kind of fear. So reverence, it's like with more respect, and awe also with more respect than just fear. Okay, a child needs to regard her parents as authority figures, right? So very important. So we have to respect our parents and fear them, right? Fear meaning, as I said, treat them with reverence and awe. This means that one may not disagree with what your parents say. Some poskim maintain that this rule is in effect even when a parent is not present. So that's very interesting rule. It's actually from Shulchan Aruch directly, just so we know. So a person is not allowed to disagree with his or her parents. Okay. So, and I think we would say even to agree. So when we say yes, Father, you're right. So when you say yes, Father, you're right, you imply that Father could be wrong. That's a big problem also. It's like So maybe all other times you were wrong, but okay, this time you're right. Good for you, Father. That's also a problem. Okay, so one more time, some poskim maintain that this rule is in effect even when parents is not present, so meaning to disagree. However, if parents states the opinion and then ask the child what she thinks, she is permitted to disagree. So if they put it as a statement, so you cannot disagree. If they ask your opinion, we can disagree. Since the parents' request show that he forgives his honor and wants to know the child's opinion. So, okay. So many people they do not ask your opinion just so we know during the conversation. They just see if you agree with them. So they do not care with your opinion. So your opinion is only valuable only if it's agreed with theirs. If not, right, it's not. So okay. So let's say, but in this case, if parent is truly looking for child's opinion, right? Meaning that so they automatically forgive child if the child would disagree. That's very interesting. It's very important. So meaning that that we are allowed to disagree. Okay, continue. Caution should be used to express oneself in a respectful manner. So don't some people they have no patience and they say only not smart people will do that. Only outdated people will do that. So of course that's not the way to address our parents, right? And we have to speak with respect. Okay. Validating what parents says is also considered disrespectful. Such an act gives impression that one is on the same level as your parents. We show the lack of reverence. This rule is in effect only when the child is in presence of the parents. When the parent is not present, it is permitted to say that one agrees with her parent, since it is considered honorable to concur with parents' opinion. So that's exactly what we said. So even validating that what parents say, considered disrespectful. As we said, so like you implied that they might be wrong, but this time they were right. Baruch Hashem, right? Such as an act gives impression that one is on the same level as a parent, right? Which shows the lack of reverence. So it's like this parent is your friend, and unfortunately I heard a few times in my life when parents call their children call their parents by the first name, and sometimes the parents have been encouraged, and I don't know, they told me why they encouraged, but in my mind it's like they crazy parents, right? Crazy parents. Okay. Lack of reverence. So this rule is in effect only when the child is present of the parent, right? When the parent is not present, it is permitted to say that one agrees with the parent. So, my father said this and that, and of course I 100% support him and agree with what he says. So that's actually respect to the parent, right? Since it is considered honorable to concur with the parent's opinion, right? So my father taught me, or he told me this, and I 100% support and agree. Okay. Continue. Paskim write that if one is in presence of one's parent, the parent is having disagreement with another person, one can say that she agrees with her parent's view. Since she is defending the parent, it is considered respectful behavior. One more time. Paskim write that if one is in presence of one's parent and the parent is having disagreement with another person, so there are three people, right? We, our parent, and somebody else. So, and that person disagrees with our parent. So, yeah, in this case, we are allowed to agree with our parent, right? In their presence, because you defended the parent's honor. That's different. Okay. Continue. Sitting in or standing in the parent's place. Another aspect of fearing parent is not to sit or stand in their place. This is relevant regarding their seats at the table, in a shul, or in an office. Right? So everywhere. So if you know that your father always sits on this chair, your mother always sits there, so you're not allowed to sit there. Okay. So 1 second. They say it's relevant that they sits at the table, in a shul or in an office. Okay. Additionally, if there is a specific chair designated for the parents, such as armchair at the table, or in an office chair at the desk, the child is not permitted to sit in it, even if it has been moved from its usual place. Right? Very interesting. So meaning that it's like a child is taking a parent's place. It is permitted to sleep in a parent's bed, since it is not an area in which one shows respect. It's very interesting, right? And one is permitted to sleep in a parent's bed. Okay. However, if parent is opposed to the child sleeping there, she should not do so. Okay. Rabbi Yashav. Very interesting. Okay. So sitting not, but sleeping it is possible. So I guess we're talking about parents. So, but if other people can sit in different guests, right? For example, when your parents come or when your mother comes, she always sit in this chair. Let's say. So she comes, let's say often, and she knows that's her seat. Okay, 100%. Right, but when you have different guests, so you yourself would not sit at that chair, but your guests can sit at that chair. There is no problem. So it's not disrespect to your mother. If mother is not there, of course. Continue. Using parents' first name. That's a big issue. I mean, I heard it only a few times. I was shocked. Like, But okay. It is clear that one may not call a parent by his or her first name. This considered lack of reverence, for sure. This prohibition applies even if the parent is not present. Moreover, this prohibition applies even after the parent is no longer alive. It's from Shulchan Aruch. Okay, I'm not sure why would somebody calls parent by the first name. I mean, what I heard, it's what, like from teenagers, maybe a little young adults, like in the, I don't know. But older than that, usually people don't do that, right? But after the death, not sure. Those sick people. Poskim discusses one may refer to the parent by name if she has respectful title beforehand. Many feel that if it is necessary, one may be lenient. Example of respectful title are rabbis, Mr., Mrs., or Doctor. Some poskim maintain that even saying my father, so and so, is permitted. Igros Moshe. So that's how actually we have some like few gaboim in my shul and younger fellows, right? And sometimes they have to call their father. That's how they care. They call them my father's so and so. Yeah, that's or if he has to call to the Torah his son, so he said Beni, yeah, my son. So that's a proper address. Yeah. Okay. So if he would put something like Dr. Mrs. I don't know, Mrs. Miriam, I'm not sure how it does not sound, or Doctor I don't know, does not like in call Rabbi and Rabbi Yitzchak, call you your father name is Yitzchak, call him Rabbi Yitzchak. I'm not sure how it makes sense. For me, it does not. Mr. Yitzchak, I don't know. Mr. Abraham. The Halachah is not calling a person by name extent, even to calling others who have the same name. The exact Halachah depends on whether or not the parent is present, and whether the name is common name or uncommon name. So meaning what, that that's a big difference between Sephardic and Ashkenazic tradition. So in Ashkenazic tradition, we don't name children after the living period. So after the parents after the parents, I would say grandparents of their life. So after, like, if brother has the same name, I don't think it's a problem. But only like close relatives, like parents, most likely, right? And one of the reasons, so to avoid this, right? So we name our children after the death, if they were righteous, after the death. Right, but Sephardic tradition, they can call after the living, after they can call a child after his father, no problem. Okay. Okay. So the issue is here, like if his father's name is Yitzchak, and his let's say his name is Yitzchak, and son has a guest, his friend, right, whose name is also Yitzchak. So it's not proper for a son to call his friend in the presence of the father. That's a big issue. One who is addressing another individual in the presence of one's parent who has an uncommon name is not permitted to refer to individual by this name. So some like uncommon, some is very common, some is uncommon. This is because it would appear that she is calling her parent by his or her first name. I mean, of course, she addressing or he is addressing their friend, right? But people from outside of the room, they do not know who she addressing. That's the issue. On the other hand, it is if it is common name and it is not in the presence of a parent, saying the name is permitted, not in the presence of the parent, and sometimes they would just change the name, right? So for Yitzchak, Itzi, Itzu, like a different variation, so it's not exactly the same. Okay, continue. There's a great debate among the poskim in cases where one is in presence of the parent with a common name, and where it is not common name, but one is not in their presence. Although it might become commendable to be strict in both situations, since we are dealing with the Torah requirement, it is if it is difficult, one may certainly be lenient when it is a common name. So let's do this piece one more time. So and very often, so I mean, sometimes I remember, sometimes I also fail this, unfortunately, right? So when they call you to the Torah, sometimes they remember your name, sometimes like a new Gabbai or substitute Gabbai, so he does not remember exactly your name, right? Say he said your name Ben, and then you have to say your father name, so you cannot say your father name. So that's exactly the disrespect. So if your father's name is Yaakov, you cannot say Ben Yaakov. So we say Ben Reb Yaakov, like some titles. You add some respectful title to it. Okay, so let's do this piece and we explain. There's a great debate among the poskim in cases where one is in the presence of a parent with a common name. Presence of a parent with a common name, right? So Moshe, right? And there it is a not common name, but one is not in their presence. Okay. Although it might be commendable to be strict in both situations, since we are dealing with Torah requirements, right? So it is always try to go stricter side. If it is difficult, one may certainly be lenient, and if it is a common name, so it's not that like disrespect. So okay. If it is hard to qualify what is considered an uncommon name, one should consult halachic authorities for her particular situation if she is in doubt whether or not certain name is considered common. Okay, I guess that depends on the community. In some community, they just love some name, like in Chabad would be Menachem Mendel, Menachem, right? Or in other it's Yoel. Okay, so Nachman. So let's see. Continue. By the way, any questions before we continue?
Goes off?
Yes, go ahead. It's good.
My family and I, we have like a family business. It's like a we run it as a family company. And sometimes when we have to deal with customers, they're not supposed to know that we're related, like, because that may lead to problems subsequently. And sometimes I have to call my mother by her first name in front of them, since they're not supposed to know that she's my mom. Is that problematic?
Yes. You can call your Miss such and such.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's respectful, and that's when you address your coworker this way, I think that's actually bringing you the value of your company up. That's a relationship between people. You respect people so much. Yeah.
Rabbi.
Yes. Go ahead.
Good question. Manu. Yeah, I mean this situation. I remember my grandmother. I used to call her by her first name, but then I heard a shiur from Rabbi Yaron, and I remember asking her. I was like, Grandma, how come I called you by your first? I was like, I call my grandpa, and I didn't call her grandma. So it was and I remember asking her, I was like, how come I never called you grandma? And she said, no, that's the way I raised, that's the way they taught me. I was like, wait, why did you do that? And she told me, no, it's just, at the time she didn't want to feel old. And I was like,
Exactly.
Okay. But now I call her grandma. Now I'm like, oh no, I call you. And she doesn't, she loves it. She loves it.
That's the answer. Actually, I don't want to speak it out, but that's the answer that few women gave me. Like, they like when they have these girls in an early age, right? So they the difference in age not that big, and they feel like girlfriends, not like sick people. So the mother encouraged this her daughter, teenage daughter, to call her by the first name, because when they go somewhere, they're not so religious, of course. When they go somewhere, so they would think that they're girlfriends, not actually mother and girl. That's sick people. When I heard it, I went to wow. Yeah, but that's very interesting. But with the grandma, yeah. So now, okay, grandma, your grandma, just stay a grandma is a very respectful title, I think. It's very respectful title. Okay. So any other questions before we continue? Next topic, very interesting. Listen to this. When a parent sins, when a child sees a parent committed an avera, she is obligated to correct the parent. So not only strangers we have to correct, right? But even a parent. However, she should not say directly that the parent is transgressing, since that would be disrespectful. She would phrase it in a question form. For example, she can say, "Is it possible to say that the Torah? Is it possible? It says, is it possible in Torah that said that it is forbidden?" The parents will realize that he or she is committed a sin. Right? Even this must be said in a respectful manner. If the parent does not realize that the message implicit in a child's phrase, it is permitted to say straightforward in a respectful manner. So again, we speak respectfully, and sometimes people do forget, as I think it's all said. Well, one of the person forgot that day was 17th of Tammuz. So I ask, "Are you okay? Like, you feeling good, or you feel bad?" So why would he ask? Like, from nowhere. It's not like when somebody is sick. So of course you ask how a person is doing, but from nowhere, like, why would he ask? I said, but I hear you like you're drinking something, you're eating. Maybe if you're sick, of course you would be allowed to drink and eat. But it came out that that first person forgot that today is 70th of Tammuz. Okay, how he could forget? Maybe he did not go to shul. Maybe he remembered in the morning. In the evening, he did not remember. I mean, I don't know. I didn't ask more questions, but he when he realized that what he did, that was he was a little upset. But I had to stop it. You understand? So you cannot just ignore it when somebody sins. Okay, he ate. Okay, he ate whatever he ate. He drank whatever he drank. But there are a few more, like 3 more, 4, at that time maybe 4 more hours to the fast. So continue fasting 4 more hours, right? So okay. So when we see the parent sins, so he said, "Is it possible?" The Torah said it's forbidden. So let them get the hint. So don't tell them directly if they cannot get directly. So yeah, so you're allowed to tell them, and not only allowed, you're obligated. So you're close to them. Okay. Continue. Striking a parent. The Torah writes that if one hits a parent, should be put to death. So no more, no less, right? This applies only if blood was drawn. There are instances when the parent would want the child to perform the act that might draw blood. For example, if parent needs to test his blood sugar, or and the child is the only one available, this is permitted. So if child hits a parent and bloods come out, they will withdraw, right? So a child deserves a death penalty. So of course the problem with dentists, right? With all of the surgeons, with all of other people, of course you're doing for the parents' best, and that's what parents, of course, parents forgive you, and that's what they want, the best. Like who else would take care of me if not my child, right? But that's it's not so simple. It's not so obvious, right? Because why? Because parents suffers and the blood is coming out. Okay. One more time. So they say in the case of blood sugar, right? So to test his blood sugar. Okay. So if no one else, because I would say the way I understand, and we have several people who have diabetes, like in different forms. So I learned a lot from them. So it depends on a stage. So in some cases it's a life risk. For sure. This if they do not check the blood sugar, right? So that's why you are allowed. Many poskim write that it is permitted for a child to give a haircut to a parent, since a wound might not occur, and even if it does, it wasn't done in order to strike the parent. The same would apply to removal of the splinter. I'm not sure why would somebody, like, usually there is no wound during the haircut. I'm not sure. Okay, but maybe it's possible. I don't know. Okay, but splinter for sure. Like many times, and when you remove splinter, so you actually want to squeeze a drop of blood. That's for disinfection, right? That's actually good, right? So they say there is no problem. However, if there can be performed by another individual, that is preferred. So who is that? Rama. So splinter, 1 second. Right. So Rama said, if somebody else can do it, let them do it. Just as one person is obligated to honor her parents, she is also obligated to honor her step parents. It's from Shulchan Aruch also. Stepparents. Okay. This is because it is included in the mitzvah to honor the surviving biological parent. Let's see. Therefore, this is only required as long as biological parent is alive. Once the biological parent has passed away, there is no full requirement to honor a step parent. However, it is still proper to continue to treat him or her with honor. Let's read one more time and try to understand what it says here. Somehow it's like, I don't know. Let's read again and see. Just as a person obligated to honor her parents, she is also obligated to honor her step parents. So step parents meaning, let's say her mother divorced from her father, and she remarried. So this stepfather, so she must she's obligated to honor this stepfather. This is because it is included in the midst of honor a survival biological parent. Mitzvah of honor the surviving biological parent. Maybe they mean it's not a case of divorce, but somebody died. I'm not sure. Therefore, this is only required as long as the biological parent is alive. So if this father is alive, right? Once the biological parents passed away, there is no full requirement to honor a step parent. So the way I understand, so if they divorced, let's say her mother divorced the father, so and she remarried, so this girl must honor her stepfather. But if her biological father passed away, that's how I understand what it says here. Maybe I'm wrong. If her biological father passed away, so she's not obligated to honor her stepfather. Okay. However, it is still proper to continue to treat him or her with honor. So that's these people is raising you. They provide for you. So it's like, of course, you have to treat them with respect. If you don't like it, move out. That's it, right? The obligation toward the step-parents is limited to honoring, but not or to revealing. Okay, that's very interesting. It is for this reason that we find many people call their stepfather by the first name, since that falls under the category of reverence. Not sure. So here's the thing. So respect. So they still show honor to the stepfather, let's say. But to call this father by the first name, okay. The stepfather by the first name, I guess, okay. Maybe there is no problem, okay. It is for this reason that we find that many people call their step-parents by their first name, okay. Since it falls under the category of reverence, okay. Continue. Honoring one's elder brother. The Gemara writes that one is also obligated to honor one's older brother. The Poskim discuss how far this requirement extends. Some write that the mitzvah refers to any older brother, even if he is not the eldest of the child. Some feel that this applies to older sister as well. Okay, so that's from Gemara, from the extra word "ves." So they learned somebody else. So father, mother, and somebody else. Who is somebody else? So this somebody else is older brother. It's very interesting, right? So one more time, the Gemara writes that one is obligated to honor one's older brother, and it's actually from Shulchan Aruch as well. The Poskim discuss how far its requirement extends. So, of course, not as much as parents. That's understandable. Some write that the mitzvah refers only to older brother, to any older brother. So, if she's the youngest and out of 6 people, right? So 5 older brother. If he's not the eldest of the children. Some write that the mitzvah refers to any older brother, even if he is not the eldest of the children. So meaning all of the older brothers. Okay. Some feel that this applies to older sisters as well, meaning that you have to respect your siblings, which is very interesting. Again, this obligation is limited to honor and not to reverence, right? It is for this reason, so that you can call them by the first name. It is for this reason that we may call the older siblings by his or her first names. Exactly. Right? So, honor, yes, meaning not to use their things without asking, and not to sit at their chairs and stuff like that. This halachah is the source of many for many families who do not allow the younger children to marry before the older siblings has already done so. However, many poskim state that according to Halachah, younger sibling may indeed marry before the older one. So it's from Igras Moshe. So that's it's from Shulchan Aruch Viscount. So that's actually the disaster, and we know a few families. So that's what Lavan did to Rachel and Leah. That's you understand. You have to marry like whoever can get married. So we know a few families, and they have girls right? And they almost did not allow like a second oldest girl to date, because why? Because the eldest is not did not get married, and she's I don't know, what is she? Maybe 26, and the younger is she's 24, and the younger was 21. So we had the shidduch for her, and they said no, but how? Why you offer? The father got offended. The father got offended at me, like. I said, look, if I had somebody for your older girl, daughter, I would offer, but right now I have a boy, right, age of your second oldest, like, right. So they were very reluctant, very interesting, right. That's not correct. I mean, we're not trying to offend the oldest girl, right? But if somebody else can get married, let them get married. Continue. Honoring one's grandfather. Here we go. One is also obligated to honor one's grandfather. That's also from Rima. Poskim assume that this obligation midaraisa. Whoa, the Torah level. It's according to Bach. So meaning honoring of grandfather is midaraisa. Okay, so many times in Torah, when we read Torah, they would call it his child, but then you then say it's not his child, it's his grandchild. But Rashi always comments, yeah, that's not the problem. Many times Torah calls grandchild as a child, but a great grandchild they would not call the child. So it's the distance is too big, right? A great grandchild, it's for sure there is almost no connection. Very interesting. Once again, the poskim discuss how far the obligation extends, meaning with a great father. The word in Halachah is the father's father, right? So again, Rema. So it's not the mother's father; it's the father's father. However, most assume it is also includes a grandmother, as well as one maternal grandparents. Okay. So so some poskim said it's applied to grandfather on the father's side. Most assume that it's also grandmother included, right? As well as grandparents from the mother's side. Okay, but the father's side always takes precedence. So because why? Because they inherit from the father's side, not from the mother's side. I mean, if there's nobody else, of course we go by the mother's side, but otherwise by the father's side. There is a matter of doubt in regard to a great grandparents. So as we said, 3 generations. But if the parent or a grandparent is present, then it would certainly be inappropriate not to honor great grandparents, right? So because you're obligated to honor great parents. So right, but not to honor great grandparents, it would be disrespect to our grandparents. So that's like obvious. Okay. The honor of the parent comes before the honor of the grandparent. Okay, that's very clear, right? So parent, who gave you birth, who provided for you, so you're obligated, like your obligation to respect them much higher than the grandparent. Next one is honoring parents-in-law. One is obligated to honor her in-laws as well. Okay. Again, the poskim discuss how far this extends. Most assume that although the word in Halachah is father-in-law, it includes the mother-in-law also, right? Continue. Despite the fact that the obligation includes only honoring and not show reverence, right? Most have a custom not to call their father-in-law by the first name. Right. So, I mean, in olden days, I'm not sure, in some families still these days, so they would call a father and mother, the in-laws. That would be proper for many, many years, so for almost over, always until just maybe recent generations. So, of course, you don't call them by the first name, so but you call them in some respectful form. Okay. And the last one in this section, honoring aunts and uncles. Poskim write that one should honor one's aunt and uncle. When referring to the aunt or uncle, it is proper to add respectful title before the name, not calling simply by his or her first name. Birkei Yosef. I'm not sure what would be the respectful name, but it's very interesting. Okay. Any questions on what we said? Yes, go ahead.
What about honoring older stepsisters or stepbrothers?
No, there is no connection to the step brothers or stepsisters. I mean, honoring, but not this, not according to this. I mean, in general, since you're growing together, yeah, you have to honor, but not according to Halachah, because there is no family ties, and then it's not it's not, when we're talking about step parents, that's a difference. So these people actually are taking care of you. That's different. If somebody have a stepsister, that's a different story. Okay. Any other questions before I continue? Okay, no questions. So let's start. So tell me if you have other questions on different topic, because maybe it's too much to start a new section. It's very big. Any questions? Different topics? Any topic? Yeah, go ahead, please. Okay, Joanne. Anyway, go ahead.
So I have a question about, I was researching ancient history the other day, and I came to one theory that suggests people from the lost tribes were foundation of the Scythians, and this is a tribe of Iranian people, so it's also called Magog. So these people are lost forever, in case this is true?
No, 10 tribes, they're not lost forever. They lost until Mashiach comes. That's the job of Mashiach, to identify all of these Jews. And some people think that they're Jews. They're not. And some people do not know they're Jews, and they're actually the Jews. So because the lineage comes by their mother, right, from the woman's side. So they do not even know that they're Jews, for sure. And I'm getting these emails from people. Not email, text messages. So people say, I do not know if I'm Jewish or not. And some person, I know, some disappeared. He even sent me papers. He said, I have originals. Okay, send me originals. So we see original from Ellis Island when they enter the United States from 1800s, right? And it's very interesting. Another person said from concentration camp. So most likely they're Jewish, but they were not practicing. They were converted to Christianity. I'm not sure when, but for 3 generations, 2 generations at least, maybe even 3 generations. I'm not sure. So that person is trying to go back. So, is he Jewish? Maybe yes, maybe not. Not only Jews were in concentration camps, most of the Jews, but not all of them. So, and by last name, it was hard to say. If your first name was not very Jewish, last name could European last name. It could be Polish and could be Jewish. It could be Ukrainian, could be Jewish. It's was hard to say. You understand? Yeah, go ahead. So that's why it's a job of Mashiach. Only he can, because he knows the truth, he can see through and know who is Jewish, who is not, who is from lost tribes. They say in Iran, in Africa, so there is like in Nigeria, I think, a few people that watching our classes actually from Nigeria, and they of course we tell them that they have to convert because it's questionable, but they say that there are many synagogues there, and they tell a story about how they do sacrifices. So there is no rabbi, at least in one case, but the guy wants to convert for sure, right? So they say, I'm just go by what he said, what he told me, that they do sacrifices there. So it's like Judaism with some, I don't know, like maybe they read Chumash literally or something. Okay, go ahead.
But in this particular case, I was surprised because the Scythians are like the, how do you say, the people who came before the Russians. And I was surprised because one of them was Cyrus, the one involved in the temple, in the story of the temple and Purim.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, these people called Scythians were also this, I think it's King Agag and this Aman. So it's like they came from the same people. So I am wondering if these people that are so wicked and evil are lost forever, because it appears that at some point they were from the lost tribes, but they turned to be enemies.
I mean, maybe some of them. I mean, we don't know. It could be a mix. If man was Jew and he married non-Jew, so that's it. He no longer a Jew, but they consider same tribe. I don't know. That's not a proof of anything. So it could be from Africa, from Afghanistan. There's also a tribe there. In this country, that country. So I mean, in China, somewhere. Okay, so different countries.
But this Aman, if there is the case that it traces back to the lost tribes, it doesn't make any difference. It's someone who is going to be destroyed anyway.
No, if he's Jew, he's not going to get destroyed. He's not. So if they do not know that they're Jewish, that's a different story. They're not going to get destroyed. So that's I think it's speculate. All of this, it's only speculation. But what Halachah is that only Mashiach is going to be able to know who is Jewish, who is not. Right? But with us, we all only go by 3 generations. So if you know for sure that all the 3 generations before you were Jewish, so we assume that you're Jewish. Like, that's it. Are all the Kohanim? I don't think so. Are all of the Levim? Also don't think so. Right?
I have other question. Another about Halachah, but this one is about. I heard about something that is called the Hall of Souls. I think in Hebrew is Beihal and Neshamot. And it says that until this place is empty of all souls, like Mashiach cannot come. But my question is if this refers to Jewish souls or Gentiles, because also I heard that Gentiles don't have souls, don't have divine souls. It's just Ruach and Nefesh, but not a divine soul.
No, but even though they don't have divine soul, but they have souls, so which is sent also, they're given them when they're being born. So I mean, let's not discount that. Okay, so the souls only of the Jews or not? I'm not sure. But when the time for Mashiach to come, Hashem is going to not to wait. So I mean, this we have to understand. This reincarnation is actually a privilege. So is Hashem obligated anybody to visit this privilege? Absolutely not. So he said, stand by. if your future parents deserving, so you're going to get reborn. If not, not. So people, some people do not want to have children. Some people wasting seeds. So now the world is never going to finish because of these people. No. Okay. Any other questions? Anybody else?
And the last one it was about Halachah. If I well, it were two questions, but the one I have here is about removing head covering if we are reading some secular stuff.
You mean to remove head covering when you're reading secular stuff, or why wouldn't do that? I don't understand. What is it?
Because I associate the Kippah to prayer, and then we are reading.
Okay, I see. So another name for a kippah is actually yarmulka. So yarmulka is is a mispronunciation of yarei malka. Yarei malka meaning that you have a fear of heaven. So when you wearing the head covering, whatever kippah, or as we explained last time, any head, whatever head covering, doesn't matter what. So you're showing the reverence before heaven. That's the thing. So we're always shy, and many people even sleep with kippah. Of course, it's going to fall off, but it does not make any difference. So you try to sleep in kippah, and then when you wake up, right, you put it right away back, and that's it. You never take out unless you have to take shower or something. So that's the proper attitude. So it's not about only prayer. For prayer, it's a must. Of course, must meaning even if person pray without kippah after the fact, there is no problem. That doesn't have to repeat, or made the blessing without kippah. Also, like it's proper to have to wear kippah, but after the fact, there is no obligation. But we're trying to always have a head covering, absolutely always. That's why kippah is more practical than like, for example, a baseball cap or some other hats. Rather they're big and not very comfortable. But kippah, like some people have smaller kippah, I have bigger kippah. Doesn't matter. But proper always have your kippah is again it show you use Yirei Shamayim, Yirei Malka, Yar Malka.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Any topic? Yes, go ahead, please.
So I heard Rabbi Shlita some time ago explained that Shemona Esrei, as its name states, was originally composed of 18 blessings, right? And the part that speaks about the heretics was added later on, sometime after. So my question is, why was this part put there where it has to be recited before the one that mentions the tzaddikim and not the other way around?
Okay, that's an amazing question. So first, let me explain the question to everybody. So first, it was Shmona Esrei, Shmona, it's 8. Shmona Esrei, so 18. So Shmona Esrei, 18 blessings. Another name for this is Amidah. Amidah is a prayer. So, but when you say Amidah, prayer, meaning that Shmona Esrei. So Shmona Esrei is 18 blessing. But later on, when I think it was during the Second Temple period, when there were too many people, collaborators with the Roman governments, and it was very, very, very hard, impossible, especially in the days of Hanukkah, right? All of these Malshinim, all of these informers on the Jewish people. So it was very hard for our nation. So our sages added the 19th blessing. So even though we say 18 blessing prayer, but it's actually 19. That's a good point. So it's 19th prayer, blessing prayer. And of course, if you ever learned like the structure of the prayer, I think in art school, I never had this book, but I have long list of things that I wish to read. But one of them is praying with fire. If somebody wants prayer, praying with fire. So it's very famous book, very like a bestseller, I think. So some people that I learned with, they actually learned this book. Very interesting. And and there he goes to exactly like to every blessing of the Shmiras, explain what does it mean, what kavanah you should have, this and that, like deep. Even in our Siddur there is some explanations. If somebody reads, that's very valuable like addition to understand what exactly we're saying. But one of the things is when our sages added this thing about heretics, they could add it could add it anywhere, like maybe at the end. So I would say maybe, like logically, it would be proper. So if like all of this 18 existed before, maybe proper, or, okay, to add it in the end. Of course, that's not the logic. The logic was that first, let's get rid of these heretics, and then praise the tzaddikim. And then only, like we're talking about tzaddikim, so when we can take care of tzaddikim, when we get rid of these heretics. So because while these heretics are still in life in this world, there is no rest for tzaddikim. And it's very interesting. I heard from Rabbi Reuven Shlita this story. It's an amazing story, mind-blowing story about Rav Shach Zatzal. It was one of the greatest rabbi that we ever had in the past history. Maybe he died maybe 20 years ago, maybe 25 years ago, plus minus. So not so long ago. And he lived to age around maybe 101, something like that. Very old age. It's from Europe. He ran away. It's a different story. But the story that I want to say that once the students came to Rav Shach Zatzal, and they saw that he said he had the whole set of Kabbalah books, and Rav Shach was very stringent. He never taught anybody Kabbalah. So students knew, so that he does not know Kabbalah, or he said we don't learn Kabbalah here. Okay, we learn all other subjects, but not Kabbalah. And then he realized that Rabbi Rav Shach Zatzal actually wrote the whole commentary, extensive commentary on Kabbalistic works. It's unbelievable. So meaning that he was very, very knowledgeable in Kabbalah, right? He did not teach other people, but he himself would learn it. It's very interesting, right? And once, and everybody in yeshiva realized long time ago that Rabbi Zatzal would not eat breakfast. So it was yeshiva breakfast. After the prayer from 8 Torah to 9, he never ate breakfast. Never ever he ate breakfast. Right? And after the students saw this all the Kabbalistic books, and of course they did not know Kabbalah, it's for sure it's some Kabbalistic things. So if our rabbi does not eat breakfast from 8 Torah to 9, maybe we also should not eat, because he knows the secrets and we don't. Right, so of course it's not proper to ask Rabbi, because he said, I'm not going to teach you Kabbalah, right? It's not our thing. And one of the students were a little more brazen, and he asked, Rabbi, I apologize, but please tell me, why don't we learn, why does not Rabbi eat breakfast from 8:30 to 9? Is it Kabbalistic thing? Is it forbidden, demons, this and that? Bad spirits. And Rabbi Rav Shach Zatzal, he started crying and shaking and crying, and this guy got so scared, like he started apologizing. I did not mean to offend the rabbi, this and that. I apologize. And after the Rav Zatzal stopped crying, he said, don't you know, from 8:30 to 9, all of the secular children, Jewish children from secular family, they go to school, and then the neshamas being spiritual slaughter there. How can I eat from 8:30 to 9? How can I eat? when the Jewish souls are being slaughtered. So that's how a tzaddikim feels when there's so many Rishim in the world. They feel, I mean, for us, okay, me personally, unfortunately, I'm not on that level. So if I need to eat from 8:30 to 9, I would eat, because I don't have this sensitivity. But that person has this sensitivity. So until there's evil in the world, right? So he cannot enjoy his breakfast. You understand? So at least, I mean, he's very disturbed in this breakfast. So that's why we first, our great poskim say, first we say, remove this Rishaim from this world. It's not only informants, also all of the Apikorsim, also included, right? And then, only then, right, bring all of the good to tzaddikim. That's the answer. Very, very good question. Thank you very much. Very good question.
Thank you, Rabbi. That was amazing.
You're welcome.
I have a few other questions.
Go ahead.
So the Shulchan Aruch says that a person has to wash his hands 3 times after going through bloodletting, which is not so common these days. So does that mean that the person has to wash his hands too when he donates blood, for example?
Yes. That's exactly That's exactly the bloodletting. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it would be like an equivalent of it. It's like the procedure is pretty much the same.
Yes, procedure, yes, exactly the same. But in those days, the blood would go to waste. But in this case, the blood is being used for good causes, to save people. But same idea, to remove some blood from the system. And some sages say it's, I mean, today is not so applicable, but in olden days, it was more common. So people would have a bloodletting, like everybody would go to bloodletting. So because of the high blood pressure, and especially the little elderly people, because today they many people use aspirin, right? For what? For making the blood not as thick. You understand? Because it can cause heart attacks and stuff like that. So, but in olden days, so they would remove blood, so it would be less blood, so it would travel, it would not be as thick, right? So that's how they will do it, right? Okay, go ahead. Other questions?
Yeah, the other question is related to the same topic. So the Shulchan Aruch also says that the person should not touch the puncture wound from a bloodletting without washing his hands first in the morning. Like the little spot, little dot that remains in the skin, the person is not supposed to touch it before washing his hands. But my question is why he's not allowed to touch this small wound and not other types of wounds, like a cut or a blister or something like that.
So I think if it's a scab on top of it, there is no problem. So meaning if it is healed, the wound is healed, scab so that there is no problem. If it's open wound, if it's still bleeding, that would be like this impurity from blood. Yes.
Also, it applies to any type of open wound, perhaps.
Yes, open wound still bleeding. Yes. That would be an issue.
Awesome. And I have one last question.
Okay.
This one's like not too relevant to anyone's life. I'm just curious about it. Like when a person that converts passes away, so who greets them in Olam Haba? His former relatives are not related to him anymore.
No, same with every righteous Jew. Like when person dies, righteous Jew dies. So Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov comes, and Moshe, Rabbi, and Rabbi Akiva, all of the great sages come to greet them. relatives are very good. Maybe he was a Jew by birth that did not have such great relatives. Yeah, I mean, not so important. Of course, I'd like to see my grandmother or great grandfather, but I'm more interested in Rabbi Akiva. You understand? Very interesting question.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Any other questions? Any topic? Okay, so no question, no problem. So let's stop here then. And tomorrow we're going to continue with our class Kitzur Shulchan Aruch. Beezrat Hashem. Thank you very much. Good night. Until tomorrow, same time. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Rabbi.